Hello everyone, welcome to another video in my channel. This time we will take a look into the SIVA navigation with the SIVA, or inertial navigation system, INS. Got very popular in flight simulation through the FlyJ Sim series airplanes 727, also the 73, 7200, not to mention the Kolimata Concorde. And now we have another player in the yard who uses it, and this is the Felis 747-200 Classic, and this is the SIVA that I will try to explain, but be aware that this is how I manage it. For more details on it, please check the manuals and dig a little bit deeper into it. But what I will show you here are some basics to get you going. So this SIVA is a custom one made by Felis and comes with the plane itself. Although we know there is another SIVA on the org that you can buy currently as a separate plugin. At this moment I think it is $15, and the FlyJ Sim series are using it. So as said, in this video I'll show you some basics, how to set it up, where to get the coordinates from, how to engage it and when, how to do directs with it, and so on. There is a big topic around the SIVA called DME updating. In DME updating, you are actually using DMEs which you fly past them to improve the accuracy of your SIVA. In the Felis 747 this works. So you see the SIVA is an old system and is subject to position errors that accumulate over time. So that means the longer the flight, the more drift you get. For this video we'll make a flight from Ljubljana to Athens. Let's load up SimBrief and let's take a look how to do that actually. Right, SimBrief, we all know it. Departure Lima Juliet. Arrival is Athens. The airframe, we will select the 747-400. The 747-200, there it is, Bravo. And that's gonna be our flight plan. We're not gonna complicate much. Do not complicate too much when you fly with the SIVA. Just be aware that well, you can't actually fly RNFs with it. That means departures, arrivals, but technically you could, but that would be a lot of workload, a lot of SIVA manipulation, and usually I don't do that, so I'll show you how I do it. So this is our flight plan. Let's ignore any other numbers currently. Let's just focus exactly onto the flight plan. That will be our routing. So SIVA will use latitude, longitude coordinates. Where do you get that from, people might say? So you have to be aware that behind every of this RNF point, so to say, the 5-letter designator, there is a latitude longitude behind that. So instead of using, as in a more modern FMC, you would put in Pindo, I will put coordinate into the SIVA, so that's how it works. How do you get those? Very simple, just scroll down in your SimBrief and you'll find SkyVector. Open it. When you open SkyVector, your current route for SimBrief will be shown as your route placed like that. So we still don't have coordinates. How would I get that? Just go navlog right there. Click navlog. Another window will open for you, and this is where you get your detailed your details out, and this is what you're gonna use. So for example, I mentioned before Pindo. I have the coordinates right here, so it is in the navlog. Be aware that the SIVA has only 9 slots, so to say, where you can put coordinates in, but also understand that a SIVA navigation is like a never-ending carousel. So how to explain that? It will circle around all the time, every time. So that means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if you know what I mean. So even if we would have more than 9 waypoints here, we would then actually, when we get to number 9, when our flight plan through the SIVA is finished, we could add more points into it, and SIVA would just complete the cycle and start a new one on its own. I hope that makes sense. I don't know. We'll see. So you have to start somewhere, so bear with me. I'm just gonna power up the aircraft real quick, and we will set the flight plan together and show you how it's done. Alright, the battery is running, we are established on ground power, everything is fine. If you need a quick tutorial how to set this plane up real quick, you can check my other videos or the link below. So we are ready to go. Now the SIVA itself, looks very primitive. You can immediately say that it's an old device. It is, and this is why it makes it very challenging to fly. It has surprisingly a lot of menus or functions. We can go through them real quick, but you will find that in the manual. You won't use them much, I do think so, but if you're going to fly with it professionally, you will find use for track, ground speed, heading, for example, then cross track, position, waypoint. This is what we're gonna need. Distance and time, very handy. Wind, desired track status, all kinds of stuff. But as I said, we will go only through the basics. So we have our flight plan running. One thing to notice, and I urge you all, you need charts. Without charts, it's gonna be very complicating to fly any aircraft that uses the SIVA system. So if you don't have that yet, get yourself charts, either free ones or Navigraph, doesn't really matter, just so that it's charts. So our flight plan will go from Ljubljana down to Athens, and you can immediately see that we don't have any departure pre-selected here. We just have a direct to Darza. Darza will be our first spot that we have to fly in. So depends on which what is the departure that we will what is the departing runway, I have to say, that we will take out of this airfield. Either it's to the northeast, to the northwest. In that case, we will just do an omnidirectional. That means runway heading, left crosswind, left downwind, and then direct to Darza. It will be something like a spin here, or a direct departure out of runway 12. In that case, we will depart to the southeast and then just put a direct into Darza. Navlog will open for you, and this is what we need. So as I mentioned before, Pindo, for this you get Pindo, you will get as well the latitude and the longitude for it, and we have to put that into the SIVA. Very handy thing here, although you can't really depend on the wind directions and wind correction angles here right now, but you can depend on distance. And that would be one of the indications in your SIVA as well, to cross-check, double-check if your waypoints are correct or not, but let's not go through that. Darza will be our first spot. We have the numbers here, so we will go through and start. Now we cleared a little bit of the fog away, what we have to do after our departure. We can plan further on. So first thing, what you have to do is scroll your menu selector into the pause position, Papa Oscar Sierra. This is your current position. So there are two ways to do that. One, the quicker way, is go into the tablet of the 747-200, select INS, and you can go quick align. That will quickly align your INS, and it will already preset your position here. This is where the plane is currently standing, to make it simpler for you. If you want to go the hard way, you could go into plugins, Avitab. You would open your, I have it already here because I was rechecking. You would search for the airfield you're standing on. You would have to figure out on which ramp you are. I'm ramp 3-4. Then you would go through the charts, find one with parking stand coordinates, it says, open it, and you will pick out the coordinate. We are ramp 34 for it right here, and you would see it overlays. It's the same latitude, longitude as you can see here in the tablet as well. So where did we stay? We put our selector into position, and we will enter the current position of this aircraft right here. So N like November, you will find it on the number 2. It says NW, November, Whiskey, Sierra, Echo, right? So November is number 2. Let's go. November 34138, 46138. I'm sorry, 46138. Insert. The second number begins with an echo, with an E, so that means number 6, echo, 014272, 014272. Insert. The plane has our current position right into the position in it, so the plane knows where our starting point is, right? Now we can move to navlog and enter all those points in. I usually don't put in the arrival airfield, because we will fly the arrival with radio navigation. That means with wars, with everything that comes with it. You can fly. Technically you can fly an RNAV with a SIVA, but that will put to you a whole bunch of multiple waypoints in that you would have to go and put in manually into the SIVA. One thing to remember is the SIVA has only 10 slots, actually 9 slots to put your waypoints in, but it is a never-ending carousel. That means you put in your waypoint 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and when the plane comes to number 9, it will go to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you know what I mean. So even if you get yourself your flight plan, if you're flying over the Atlantic, for example, you will get yourself many of those waypoints, more than 9. And as you fly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're somewhere on waypoint number 7, that means that you already freed up your waypoints from 1 to 6, right? Those waypoints you don't need anymore, but in those slots you can put in your further waypoints in, if you know what I mean. So it is a never-ending carousel. You can put as many waypoints in as you wish, but be aware they have to be carefully put in. If you make a mistake in the number, the plane might drift away. And as we are already talking about the drift, remember the DME updating, and the drift is there already. It's not a huge one, but it is a little bit, a couple of miles. So just keep this in your mind. So I'll put the first waypoint in, so I'll show you how it's done. You would, we don't need that anymore. You would turn your selector to waypoint, and you would click here, so you get a number 1 in, right? So the first waypoint for us is called Darza, and its latitude longitude is north 3529 and 7. Insert, and east 0150004. And then waypoint number 2, and so it goes. See you in a couple of seconds. I'm just gonna put in all those waypoints, and then we'll power up the aircraft, and we'll be ready to go. Alright, our flight plan is currently in. We have 6 waypoints selected, as it is through our navlog. We will finish, as you might see, we will finish at the VOR, Kilo Echo Alpha. This is all in. We can put our selector down to desired track and status, and go up to the overhead, see if our INSs are aligned, and we have green. So let's go into nav mode. That's gonna be it. Desired track and status, back to distance and time, and we can then recheck. Where is it again? Our nav log. So let me take a look. Distance to our first waypoint, called Darza, is 49.5 miles. What does it say in the SIVA? 49 miles. Be aware that number 0 and 1, 0 is our present position right now, and everywhere number 1 is our waypoint number 1. So this explains where the SIVA is looking at. So from our present position to waypoint number 1, which is Darza, it's 49 miles, and this is exactly the same distance that we get through the navlog. This is a way to check if you're okay. So if you get here a distance of 2,000 something miles, and you know that through the navlog this can't be correct, it would be wise to recheck your waypoints, because mistakes do happen, and this is how it is, and this is how it will always be, looks like. So let me fire up the aircraft. We will get ourselves into taxi and into onto the runway, and see you in a sec. Okay, here we go. The plane is ready to go. Flaps set, engines running. We are just about to line up on the runway. What it is about the plane, how to get it going, as I said before, check my other videos. As we are focusing here only on navigation, we will make sure that if we do have a departure, we will fly it by the charts. In this case we don't have it. We will depart runway 30. That means that we will do an omnidirectional. There it is. Is the map, because Darza is to the east of us, so we're actually departing away from it. Let me stop here real quick. So we will fly runway heading on a certain altitude, let's call it, I don't know, 1000 above, 1500 above. We'll do a left turn, crosswind, and then a left turn downwind to position ourselves to the east. Somewhere on the way we will see us again, where I will show you how to engage the SIVA, and we'll take a look if it follows the route. If everything is fine, we'll still be on the climb out. So let me just depart and see you in a sec. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the air. We just departed on a departure, as I already mentioned. It's runway heading, left turn downwind. Here we go, and it is time for us, as we're on the climb out and below 10,000 feet. We still have to go with below 250 indicated, just so you know. But it is time for us to go and set up the SIVA. So it will guide us. Actually, I'm currently in heading mode, climbing out. That's okay, that's all fine. What we're gonna do right now is we will change radio into INS, and we will pre-select here into INS as well. So what did we get here? We get two flags telling that we are in nav mode. Secondly, we get our needle, which shows us that the intercept, the first waypoint, is to our right, and the plane will start intercepting it, which is what we want. Next indication will tell us how far we are from it, and so you'll see we're getting closer, and we're following it. Actually, this is not much of a science, is it? So make sure radio to INS and your mode selector to INS. We will go through putting directs in a second, but let me just establish in somewhere near cruise, and we'll see us in a second. Well, here we are, again, 18,000 feet, still on climb out. We did speed up a little bit. We preset as well our altitude selection hold for our given altitude of 370, but let's go back to navigation, is it? So we are still heading from zero, from where we start, up to waypoint number 1, and we are 22 miles away. Explain, I love this map. You can immediately see this where we engaged the INS, where the plane started turning towards waypoint number 1. But one might ask, if I fly this on real ATC, right? Either if it's VLADSIM, is it EVA, pilot, that doesn't really matter. How would I do a direct? Very simple, actually. This is waypoint number 1, and the next one would be waypoint number 2. It's called retro. How would you do that? Very simple. You would just go to the SIVA and you would press waypoint change, and if you would do 0, which is our current position right now, to 2, would insert in, the plane would go and turn to the second waypoint in row. You remember navlock? You do? So we are currently inbound into retro. Quite an attention, you will see the distance here as well, and the time it will bring us, it will take us 43 minutes to get there. So that's how it is. You can't do directs backwards, so that you would think to yourself, oh, I messed up something, let's go back. Do not do that. In a case where you would get, I don't know, if it happens, let's say if it happens that that ATC tells you a waypoint which you don't have in your SIVA, very straightforward. What I would do, I would get the identifier. If you would get, for example, direct Ioannina, for example, by the ATC, Yankee November November, you would just type it in, Yankee November November, click enter to recognize it, go to navlock again, to fresh navlock, and you would get your latitude longitude, right? So you can work with that. It can happen, do not be afraid of that. In that case, you would just put in one of your waypoints, depending on how it goes from 1 to up, you would just put in this latitude longitude here. So it is possible, right? As I mentioned before, you could technically fly also RNAVs, but I personally avoid that. I'm not doing this, but it is possible. So you have here a great opportunity to learn a different aspect of navigation, which is very interesting, which is very nice, a little bit weird sometimes, but it gives you a lot of pleasures to play with it. We are established right now. There is nothing more to do. We are just monitoring the SIVA, looking at the waypoints, how we do, yada yada yada. For the arrival, there will be as well charts coming into play, of course. Arrival and approach, you will need charts, you would work with them, but from the really basic aspect of the SIVA and how to manage it, fly it, plan it, I do think this is all what I had to say. You're very welcome to check out my other videos. You are very welcome to join me on any of my live streams on Twitch. You will find the link down below. I would really appreciate a like, maybe a subscribe if you like the content, and hopefully see you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and I wish you a pleasant day. Ciao ciao, bye bye.